Hey everybody, it's Pete. How's it going? Welcome to Stock Trading Pro. Today's Stock Market Live has a lot to uncover. We're actually going to unpack as many different trading opportunities as we can today. We have a couple of hot sectors that have been rallying pretty hard over the last, let's say, 2 weeks. June has actually been pretty good for them. One of them has a little bit of trouble today. We're going to talk about NIO stock. We're going to compare all of the electric vehicle stocks, the EV makers today, compare them to Tesla, compare them to the recent price action. So Tesla stock is kind of be the big indicator stock there. And then we're going to actually dive into sector rotation. We're going to go stock by stock by stock in the strongest sectors, the weakest sectors. We're going to look for the best stocks to buy now heading into the week. And we're actually going to take a look at some short selling opportunities for those of you that understand the other side of the market. So we have a ton of stuff to unpack today. You're going to want a notebook today because we're going to cover a lot of ideas, not only for the remainder of this week, but also going forward because we have the big 4th of July weekend coming up. So you want to make sure you have a notepad. You might want to watch this more than once because we're going to go through individual ideas. We're going to discuss risk reward, and we're going to discuss which stocks might be a little bit too far extended where maybe they look obvious, but they're not good opportunities. We're also going to talk about something we haven't spoken about in a long time, which is casino stocks / gaming stocks. We traded them a lot in 2020. Kind of been out of the favor, really haven't done anything in them. So we're going to actually dive into those stocks again today. So we have a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about today. I'm really pumped. Stick around. Be back in just 1 second. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me here today. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I just want to take 1 second out. We've actually had a massive request for options trading. We've had a ton of people asking us about options trading. We've put it off for 2 years because it was very, very challenging to find the right person that I wanted to work with that kind of maintained that standard that we do. You know, stocks and options, they kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly. So I'm very, very excited to be announcing that we're actually going to be launching an options trading bootcamp that starts when we come back from the holiday next week on July 5th. So if you could take a look over here, it's a 30-day boot camp. It's completely immersive. And I'm probably going to go out on a limb here and say that because we spent so much time looking for somebody, I really feel good that we have somebody. John Napolitano is actually going to come on a live stream with us sometime this week, and we're going to talk about it. So if you're interested in options trading and you want to combine it with all the stuff that we do on the stock trading side with order flow and tape reading and optimal entry and those kind of things, click the link below the video. You can learn more about it. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity. It's going to be taught live for 30 days, and I think has 8 implementation sessions on top of the training, on top of the coaching. So it's going to be a really awesome founding group. So if you want to learn about that, click the link below. If you have any questions, obviously reach out to our support team. That link is below there as well. So let's hop right into the NIO news because this is pretty interesting stuff, and First, I want to say that I've been trading NIO pretty actively for the better part of a couple of years. And NIO actually this morning is pulling back to that level that has been the level that's been a buying level mid-2020. Let's just go back that far. In our community, in our Discord community, we traded very actively every day. So here's the thing I want to say, and I'm just going to outline the trade for you. We're going to talk about this news story on NIO. We're going to go over the other EV stocks. I'm looking to buy NIO as close as I can to $20 with a stop loss down at around $18.50. So I'm going to have basically a $1.50 stop loss on that thing. We're going to take a look at the news story now as close as I can get it, give or take 25 cents within that $20 window. So we're going to take a look at the stock now. We're going to take a look at the news. Then we're going to take a look at the stock, and then I'm going to outline the trade of what I plan to do. And then we're going to look at Tesla stock and some of the other ones. So this is what's happening right now. There is a report that came out from Grizzly Research report that's talking about the problems NIO is having. It's being investigated now by the exchanges and allegations and all that kind of stuff. And you can see that NIO, which was about as one of the most beautiful charts that we've had in a while, where it was making really clean higher lows, higher highs. And again, you probably heard us talk about it often here. The opportunities that we look for is we're waiting for the market to give us feedback where it's holding the bid and the smart money is actually paying higher prices. That's what we call order flow stacking and reading the tape. That's a small part of it, but it's a good introduction to it. NIO is performing perfectly. Now, it's pulling back now after having one of the most obvious bullish runs for the better part of 7 or 8 weeks. Now, LI Auto came out with news yesterday about another offering, which that tends to make the stock go down. And the daily chart has been filled with what we call melted candles. If you could take a look over here on LI, the announcement, 1, 2, 3, 5 melted candles in a row. And you can see it's actually down a little bit this morning. And let's actually take a look at Tesla really quick as well. You can see the box that we drew in Tesla. And again, if you've been a regular viewer of our channel, which obviously I hope you do, I really hope I'm providing value. If I am, do me a favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. If I provide value, I want to earn it from you. So Tesla's kind of still stuck in a box. So you know that what we do is we're looking for obvious order flow, and then we're setting up risk reward to determine what are the odds of follow through, and then is that follow through worth it based on the risk that we need to take. So we know that Tesla stock is the big dog right now in this industry. And after all the nonsense started with Elon Musk and Twitter and all those other things, you can see that the stock actually broke the downtrend, looked like it was going to start a rally, but now it's still kind of stuck in this box. So for me right now in Tesla, it really comes down to, and this is a really wide window, we're talking about 800 or 600. That's a $200 window. So this is a part of order flow stacking, which is if you really want to be a trader of Tesla right now, the stock has really been in a trading range for 2 full months. So here's the way that we talk about it. Tesla stock right now is the right price. So normally we'd be looking for Tesla stock to lead the EV makers in one direction or the other, but Tesla's kind of stuck. China has the last, let's say about 6 weeks, have kind of eased on the regulations that have been holding down a lot of those Chinese stocks, such as PDD and Baba and JD and Baidu. And you can see that these stocks have actually been rallying as well, right? Baba, Baidu, JD. So the restrictions have been lifted and these stocks have actually been taking off, which now takes us back over to NIO. And I want to map this trade out as cleanly as possible. So NIO actually coincidentally just hit this resistance level here, which was a pretty big level, right? Got up to that level, no shock that it actually stalled. But we want to map out a trade where, knowing that we have 2 different battles going on right now in this arena. And let's take the news story out for a second, is that China, the Chinese government, has pretty much lifted the restrictions that they've had, given the green light that these companies are going to kind of, have a little bit more room to the upside. So that's why those stocks have rallied for a little bit. Very similar to what we're going to talk about with the casino stocks in just a minute. Hit resistance, NIO hit resistance, got up to that level, and not shocking, right? Now we have the news story where it's down around $20.79. So I can tell you, from having traded NIO a lot over the last 2 years plus at this point, $20 is a big level. So what I'm planning to do as it pulls back, so we're actually looking for a lower opening. I'm looking for it to push down. And then intraday, I'm looking to find buyers. If I find buyers intraday and the stock starts to rally back above wherever it opened intraday, that's where I'm going to start to initiate my position with a stop loss on the downside of $18.50. So that could end up being $1.50 to a $2 stop loss, which I'm perfectly okay with that. That's just going to be my initial entry. If the stock rallies off of that price, we have minor resistance over here, but really the next level I'm looking for is up in this area. So if we're bidding for this stock around 20, let's just say $20, for example, and we're looking at basically a $12 profit target, that means essentially what we're looking to do, the way this trade is unfolding, is I'm looking to risk a maximum of $2 on this trade. And let's say we get it somewhere near $20, or even say $20.50, somewhere in that area. If it opens lower, pushes back, and gets back above the level that I'm looking for, and that's an important point. I want to touch on that in a second. Then I'm basically looking to risk $2 on the maximum side to try and make $11.50 as my initial profit target. If it rallies and gets up to that initial profit target, then I will switch over to what we call our profit maximizer, which will end up being a trailing stop and allowing to see, can the stock punch through 32? And then the next level is all the way up at 42. So you can see the levels that we've outlined over here. So 20 is the bid level. 32 is the next level. And then you can see sellers came in pretty hard up in this area around 42 to 44. Now, here's the thing, and and this is really what separates I'm a trader from I'm a chart reader. A lot of people that come into our community, they start out as chart readers, where they can read every pattern in the book. They know every candlestick. They probably read it, every trading book in the world. You can see I got the big list of books over here, but that's not trading. And that's something that you really, really have to get a grip on. Is you have to understand that reading charts and making money is not the same thing. So here's the big thing I want to get across, and then we're going to dive into the casino stocks and the gaming stocks, and then we're going to do sector rotation and work our way through that process. I just outlined the trade. If this happens, then I plan to do this. So we're looking for NIO to push down and then reverse back up. And let's just say that this is the opening price. So if NIO opens here, pushes down, finds support at 20, somewhere in that area, and keeps going down, I am not buying. Let's be clear about this. This is for educational purposes. You need to make your own decisions. But I want to give you clarity on the difference between chart reading and trading. Chart reading, order flow, tape reading, setting up these ideas, they're ideas. And we had a really long conversation yesterday with one of our members, Aaron, yesterday afternoon. And I would really want to touch on that for a second because it was pretty in his face, I guess, a little bit, because sometimes sometimes you need tough love. And one of the things that came out of it, I think, is going to be shocking to a lot of people. I'm usually like this positive, optimistic guy. I had to give it to him a little bit where I had to get honest with him to kind of shake him out of the one mistake that everybody thinks is going to lead to success. And I'll talk about that in just 1 second. So here's the trade. And we're going to, again, chart reading versus trading. I gave you the whole setup. The open, most likely going to push down. If this thing keeps pushing down, I'm leaving it alone. Let's be clear about that. If this happens, then I plan to do this. You need to start doing that in all of your trading. And this is why a lot of smart people in 2022 are getting their head bashed in by the stock market because they said, if stocks keep going up, I'll be happy. And then they had nothing on the other side that said, then if stocks reverse, I will do this. They were only looking that way when stocks were moving that way and that way. So this is what separates somebody who sees their trading account grow month after month, because you have scenarios for, if this happens, then I plan to do this. If it moves in my favor, I plan to do this. If it moves against me, I plan to do this. And you just do it. You don't think too hard about it. You just do it. And that's where you're running a trading business versus all the people that are frustrated out of their mind and confused by the stock market because they're trying to be right as opposed to trying to make money. It's no different from running anything else. Everybody knows my family had a deli and a pizzeria. That was a business. Trading is a business. Teach yourself how to run a trading business. If you want my help, I'd love to help you. Just, again, you can click down into the description and learn more about that. So if it pushes down, NIO pushes down and then reverses and gets back above the opening price, that will be my initial entry. So I'm telling you now, if it pushes down and never recovers, please don't comment that I was wrong. Quite frankly, if it never triggers, I'm not even in the trade in the first place. But here's the thing. I've already mapped out the risk reward, and I hope I'm inspiring you to level up and do the same thing and have both sides of the trade mapped out. And if you love the idea and you build a fantastic argument around that idea and it doesn't make money, if it was still a good idea, you made the right decision. So stop beating yourself up if a good idea doesn't make money. It's a business expense. Go to the next trade and make it back. Stop whining and complaining about it. You're here to try and make money and run a business with all the upside that comes with being a successful stock trading business owner. You got to handle the other side of the trade, is keeping those losses manageable. So that's how I'm mapping out the entire trade in NIO. So I want to go over and I want to give you, I want to pull it up on the screen right now because it was actually a pretty good conversation, and I want to share this with you here. So I'm going to pull this up on the screen, and there's a part in here that I think that you're going to actually be kind of shocked about. So Aaron and I had this longer conversation. You can see it was actually last night after the market closed, right? So we're talking about how he's struggling, and we're talking about a trade that we actually had set up in Pepsi yesterday. We actually had Pepsi set up as one of our bearish snapback trades. Now, I want to prove this to you. I don't, again, I don't want this to sound like it's after the fact or anything along those lines. So when I map out my game plans at night, and this is obviously the game plan coming into Thursday, you can see that we went back into yesterday, right? We have bearish smackdown setup. So the way that that setup works is that there's certain parameters that work into the trade, and then I was looking for the stock to reverse bearishly to the downside. And obviously the stock did exactly what we thought yesterday, and it was a good trade, right? It was a good trade that lined up properly, and it was a good trade that made money, right? When the two of those work out, that's pretty exciting, right? But here's the thing that I want to, and what I'm about to say is going to shock you. And I'm not exaggerating, because I personally went through this and I thought it was the answer to trading success. It's a part of it, but it's not the answer. It's not what is going to make you successful. And I can't say this enough, because you see all the books. You see all the books. I got books everywhere. All those books did not make me a successful trader. They pointed me in the right direction. What I'm about to tell you is what makes you a successful trader. And this is, again, you could choose to stay here on social media. You could come into the Discord community and work with us, work with me personally. I'll give you customized help. That's completely up to you. But I want to show you and tell you what it's like to be on the other side. Okay. So the conversation yesterday, Aaron's talking about, I'm doing all the hard work. Why did you take that trade? I didn't take the trade. And first, here's the part of the answer. It was in my game plan, right? It played out according to the way I scripted, and I called out a bunch of other trades today, discussed in detail. Here's the thing. We have to take all of the trades that we game plan for in the best at that moment. You can't second guess, right? We know that, but do we always do that? Raise your hand if you see a trade and you're like, oh yeah, I love that one. And you don't take it, or you pull back and you plan to get out. You don't get out. You give it an extra nickel. An extra nickel turns into you lost an extra 50 cents or another $2. You can't hesitate. So I'm going to keep working through here, because I want, the market's getting a little challenging now, and you need to be on top of your game. Success in the market comes from having this scripted out and knowing what you plan to do. It does not come from predicting. Nobody can predict properly. It's our job to stack the odds in our favor, manage the expenses while we learn how to make more money. So I want to get to the main point, okay? So you can see how long this conversation was with myself and Aaron, right? So we're going at this conversation started at 4 o'clock, and there's more to it, and we're going on, and we're going on, right? And we're going on, and I want to get to the point, right? The point that I want to make here, okay? Going down. He's talking about, I'm good at spotting trades. I'm good, yeah, all that kind of stuff, right? Keep going. Right, we get to the bottom, and we've been talking about it. Talking about more of his problems. If you want, you can rewatch this, right? He's talking about working hard, right? Talking about how hard he's working. Okay. Keep going on, right? I put in effort too, right? I'm working hard and putting in the effort and all that kind of thing. It's not the effort. This is the part that I want to bring out here. Okay. It's not about how hard you work. Everybody works hard. The market pays you for paying attention and brutally assessing your actions and adjusting quickly. Honestly, millions of traders put in the work but don't get paid. You need to pay attention to get results. Hard work is the table stakes. The ante. It's assumed. It's not your edge. I can't express this strongly enough. The market does not care how hard we work. It wants to know if we're paying attention. So right here, right now, get out of your head, I work hard, therefore I should be successful. I'm telling you, it's not enough. You need to learn from every action you take, and then take different action to move closer and closer to what you want. And then ironically, once you get past this point, trading actually becomes easier, because you're not forcing it and you're not trying too hard. So I'm going to ask you right now, this was a 2-hour conversation that we had in our Discord community after the market closed yesterday, because I felt somebody who was in pain. I felt somebody who is working hard, passionately loving the markets, but not making money. I thought when I first started trading that the harder I worked, I would eventually come out the other side and I would become successful. Whether it's in business, I've been an entrepreneur since 1988, or in the markets, which I've been doing full time since 2000, right? Hard work is table stakes. Hard work is the ante. You go to a poker table, you got to put in the ante to even be at the table. Everybody works hard. I have news for you. Hard work is part of the equation, but it's not how you will turn successful. To turn successful in the stock market, the option market, whatever market, crypto market, whatever market you happen to trade, you have to pay attention. Now, I can feel it all over the internet. I do. Really? Let me ask you something. Are you sitting on big losing trades from 2021 into 2022? Have you taken much bigger losses than you anticipated? If yes, then you have not paid attention to what's working. The key to successful trading, assuming you're working hard, is getting out of the other side by paying attention to that doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and that doesn't work. You need to make a big list of what doesn't work and then stop doing it. The amount of people that come into our community and argue with what's not working and wanting to keep doing it, and then within a week see the light that they were making it too difficult, and then you only focus on certain things, which was another part of that conversation. This strategy and that strategy and that strategy, and watching every YouTuber around YouTuber and trading everybody's strategy. One of the reasons that I'm successful, one of the reasons that our community is having a great success now, I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it, is because we're focusing on one thing. Is order flow obvious or not? If it is, then we read the tape. Tape reading tells us if order flow is still obvious or if it changed. If you are smart, working your tail off like Aaron is, the next step for you, if you're not getting the results you want, is to make sure that you are using your profit and loss statement as feedback for the results. If the results are coming back where you're like, I'm super smart and I'm not making money, then you're not paying attention. You're not saying, what did I do today and this week that is not working? And then you need to put a notepad next to your desk, and it's got to be something you're going to every day. Buying bottoms doesn't work. Shorting tops doesn't work. Trading ranges don't work. Well, what's left over is what does work. But you have to first put in the work. You can't keep saying, I'm right, the market's wrong. I'm right, the market's wrong, because you're going to go broke. This was an amazing conversation that I had with Aaron. Actually, if you happen to be in our Facebook group, I'm going to post this link into our Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, you could click down in the description and you could actually get into our Facebook group. I'd love to have you in there. It's free. I'll post this link later after this video and whatnot. So I'm going to challenge everybody on this call right now or on the video, whenever you're watching this video, ask yourself, and I'm going to say this straight up for myself included, there's a higher level. There's a higher level that all of us can get to in the markets. For some people, they're just starting out. You just want to understand. You want to reduce the overwhelm. For some other people, you want to stop losing money. So you stop losing money, which means that you stopped making those don't do that decisions. But now you got to get to the other side where you're actually making money. The minute you stop, the minute that you start avoiding those ideas that you know in your heart are low probability scenarios, but you take them anyway, the moment you stop that, you immediately move the needle towards closer to being profitable, because now you're not digging a hole that when it's obvious, you just dug yourself out of, and now you get back to zero. So if you're a break-even trader right now, but you know everything, you just need to start eliminating these things so you're not digging out of a hole and getting back here. You're already here, maybe slightly positive or negative, and then when the market's obvious, now you're taking home some money. So this conversation with Aaron got me super fired up last night because he mentioned, I'm working hard. Everybody's working hard. Stop. Stop saying that's your edge. Hard work is not the edge. It's a part of it, but it is not the edge in the markets. You need to get to the point where you're paying attention, and you have to have a coach like me. You have to have a community like we have. Again, stop. That's what I was doing 2 hours. If you're in your head right now and you need to get out, you need to be able to ask somebody, ask a community, what am I doing wrong? Be honest with yourself because you want the results. Don't lead somebody to an answer that you want. You want somebody to give you the honest answer, which is what I did to him last night. So if you want to read this whole conversation, I'll post it in the Facebook group. You can head on down and take a look at that. So we're going to work our way over into some other ideas. Moving past the NIO conversation, we're going to go over here to the research. So if we take a look at the research, and this is coming into the day, I think one of the most incredible things about this is you can see how the Friday ended and how the week actually unfolded. You can also see now heading into Tuesday, the week was still pretty good, but we started, look at the difference here and the difference here. Now, let's talk about that for a second because we want to position ourselves, we want to position ourselves in the highest probability trades for follow through. That's obvious, right? But we also want to know, remember what I said before, our edge is order flow and tape reading. Order flow is it obvious? Tape reading is it still valid? Obvious versus still valid. The second part is the part that a lot of people are missing is how do I know if it changed? So this research document that I provide every single night, knowing nothing else about the market, this is the things you need to start to notice. The more distinctions you make, the better trader you're going to become. So if we look at this and this compared to even how it went into Tuesday, this is a very significantly different day. So if that happens going into Tuesday, which was yesterday, what does that tell you about the odds of follow through in the bigger picture if the entire market was what we call a melted candle where there was really no dominant bias? So that meant going into yesterday, the bullish side of the market weakened and the bearish side of the market was not really as obvious because we just had this strong 7-8 day rally. So it was kind of a go into the day with a trade expectation of we're not perfect right now based on how the market closed yesterday. So what does that mean? That means that we need to adjust, especially speaking to day traders right now, our initial profit target on day trades because the market is now mixed from heading into Monday to heading into Tuesday. Now heading into today, heading into Wednesday, looking at the rotation, we have a dramatically different picture. This is what's now going on for the last month, last 21 days. And here's the way we unfolded yesterday. You can see there's still some pockets of opportunity. We have been talking about healthcare now for the better part of, gosh, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. So we've been talking about Merck. We've been talking about J&J. We've been talking about Lilly. We've been talking about ABBV. These stocks have shown some really good relative strength the last week and a half. So while the market is kind of still dancing around this group of stocks, this is rotating from one money into the other money. We're not guessing. We're not predicting. We are following the smart money as it rotates. On the day trading side of things, we teach everybody to do this literally hour by hour. There's no need to guess. Once your platform is set up for order flow stacking and you have your list of stocks, then it's really just a question of when the market's unfolding. We're watching sector rotation. We're watching the market internals. We're watching the market breadth, and we're making decisions. Is it obvious? How obvious is it? Yesterday, coming into today, now the market's a little bit slightly back towards the bearish side. So we've had some bullish opportunities that were momentum trades, higher highs, higher lows on the daily chart. And those were quicker profits, cash flow, because we were trading against that bigger move. Now, on the bearish side of things, and you're going to want to snapshot this, I'll let you take a look at the list. The stocks that have already had bearish order flow that did not rally with the market, as the market looks like it's starting to push down, we're now following the money to that side and being a little bit more aggressive with wider initial profit targets because they were already weak and the market is starting to head back down, as we're seeing right here. Oh, actually right here. Okay, so this is obviously what we're looking at now over the week. So that means that we're going to work our way down into basic materials. Energy has been strong the last week or so, but they're still bearish. So we could take a look at some of those guys. We're going to take a look at, let's say, the XLE to give an example. A push down and a pause, a push down and a pause, a push down and a pause, looking for the next push down despite the fact that we are heading up here. So Chevron, still well below. ExxonMobil, still well below. DVN, although it had a pretty good rally last couple of days, I am looking to short sell. Now, let's get back to the same kind of comment that I made before about NIO. So hopefully you watched the beginning of the video. You were here at the beginning of the video where I talked about NIO, and it needs to meet certain criteria. So the energy stocks have taken a pretty big hit over the last 2.5 weeks. Sector rotation is showing that those stocks are being dumped as the price of oil goes down. So I'm looking to initiate short sales in those stocks if they take out yesterday's lows. If those stocks start to rally and continue this short-term bullish momentum, I'm leaving them alone because they're not doing what I scripted out. This is where trading, and dare I say this on video, this is where trading becomes easier, not because we're predicting, but because we're building arguments by following the smart money, and then we're tape reading to determine if that idea is valid. So if these stocks rally today and do not turn over like the Pepsi trade that I just showed you before, then I'm not going to do anything. They have to meet my criteria before I go out and do something. If they do and I put the trade on and it works out, cool. Great. We'll go get a beer. If it does what I want it to do and the trade doesn't work out, I pay the expense, go to the next trade, and I look to make that money back for my business. So I want, again, just want to give you could take a snapshot of this, two things. You could take a snapshot of the sector rotation so that you could then take a look at some of the stocks that are relative strength or relative weakness to the market, and then go in and build your watch list. And I'll show you the list of stocks I'm going to be looking to short sell today. Okay. So first, we're going to take a look over here. This is the market rotation heading into today, into Wednesday. I generally do not trade utilities. They don't have enough average volatility for me, but we saw the healthcare stocks have now pulled back for a couple of days. So I'm actually going to be looking for a spot to buy these stocks. You can see it's not down that much this morning. So looking at this bullish move, this pullback, we have what we call a swing high here right at resistance. So I'm actually looking for buyers to step back in. So that's the healthcare idea. Then we have consumer defensive. Costco was sitting right on a bubble yesterday, did not actually take off, but I still have an alert in Costco up here around 488 in that area. So once you do that, then you can start to work your way through consumer defensive. It's critical that you have a list of stocks that meet that criteria. So then I'll have this list of consumer defensive stocks, and now I'll be looking for opportunities in that area. Working our way back over to the rest of the group, that's on the bullish side of things. On the bearish side of things, then I'm going to be looking to short basic materials, and as I just mentioned, energy stocks. So those two are at the bottom of the list. Despite energy being strong yesterday, it's in that bigger picture move to the downside and basic materials. So some of the basic material stocks that we're looking to trade, again, we work our way over to the list and we hop on over here. We have basic materials at the top of the list. So these stocks are going to end up being stocks that are going to be looking to short sell. So if we look at Alcoa, NUE, FCX, you can see that these stocks have bearish order flow, and they did not rally with the market over the last week and a half. So that's how we're stacking the trades. And now those stocks will go into my game plan. And then as the day and the week unfolds, if it does what I want, the way I scripted it, cool. And I'll put on trades. And then you manage them, and remember, you're managing a business. The other thing I want to point out is now that the market rolling over today, I'm leaning a little bit more to the short side of things. So I'm going to be looking to short sell stocks, which means that I need to have a list of ideas on the other side of the market if the market's going down. So we always want to be prepared before it happens so that we're taking action instead of reacting. Raise your hand if you're always late. Raise your hand if you're always getting bad entries. That just simply means that you need to do a little bit of a better job of being prepared before the day opens and before the week opens, because then you're just looking for entries because you already have the stocks that meet the criteria. After the market opens, again, you're just looking for entries and managing those trades. So I'm actually going to give you the list of ideas that we're looking at on the short side of the market today. Should the market actually go down? Let me actually just put this into a notepad for you real quick. And you could take a screenshot of this as well, because I want to help you be prepared for the market opening today. So this is the list of stocks on the short side of the market. Let me see if I could actually make that a little bit bigger for you and zoom that in for you right there. So that's the list of stocks that I'm looking to see the market go down today. So you can actually see that some of these stocks are in various industries. You can see that Chevron, Datadog actually had bad earnings. EXP and Hilton. These are the kind of get out of the house stocks, along with the airline stocks that have shown some relative weakness, some tech stocks. Then we're getting into Bitcoin taking a hit. So coin is down. We're also taking a look at airline stocks, RCL, which is a cruise line, Delta, and airline. Chip stocks have been weak. AMD, which was the belle of the ball there for a while, has not rallied at all, and actually pretty close to a big breakdown level here as well. So my gosh, we got a lot to unpack today. There's a bunch of stuff going on. The biggest thing I want to get across is that if you're struggling right now, and again, if you want to read that document, that conversation that I had with Aaron yesterday, I'm going to post it into our Facebook group. So click the link down below and you'll learn about the Facebook group. I do want to make sure that we end with this. The options trading bootcamp is actually starting. It's not coming up. Not sure why. If you want to learn about the options bootcamp that we have started today as well, definitely click down below as well. So I actually have to get ready for another call. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to trade options with us, click that link below. If you want to get that conversation, get into our private Facebook group. If I provided some value for you today, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe and give me a thumbs up. If you have any follow-up questions, leave those comments below here as well, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Have an awesome day, everybody. I want you to know how much I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.